Yeah, we're going to get started right now. I want to welcome you guys back to the Standing on Business podcast. Please help me welcome today's entrepreneur, Riverside County's very own
Stephan Cannon.
Not financial planner, right?
So I actually do life insurance. I'm actually in the process of getting my licenses as investments. So I was one question from passing my SIE. One question.
Oh, shit.
But,
yeah.
I'm taking that test next week and I'm going to knock it out.
What does SIU stand for?
So it's a securities essential exam.
Okay.
So
cool.
This is the first step in order to get your Series 6, 63, and 26.
Okay.
Because my goal is to eventually become a financial broker.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Hell
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes,
and
sir.
is that like a financial advisor in any way?
Yes. So that's when I'll be able to help clients with their retirement, college planning, short-term investments.
Strong.
Yeah, anything they need to get them started with money. Because, what got me into it is, for me becoming a homeowner, I followed the principles with, my advisor. And, learning from that, I want to be able to show other people how to do it. So.
Strong. Well, yeah, like I was saying, life insurance agent.
Yes.
The all-powerful, self-motivated Stephan Cannon. Good to have you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming out, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Man, I just want to give you your props, man, for, doing this podcast and putting people on and, finding like-minded people, man.
Bro, that hits deep, bro. I never think of it that way, but it makes it worth it when I hear stuff like that. I appreciate that, bro, very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I've been a big fan of your podcast, man. Even through your door knocking, man, it got me uncomfortable. Like, man, if this guy can do it, then I need to start doing it.
Get uncomfortable, brother. Get uncomfortable. Yeah, that's what it's about, man. If it's too easy, I do not want it. That's the thing, man. But no, yeah, go ahead and tell us a little about yourself and where you started your whole journey.
So, I'm married. I've been married. It's going to be on 7 years October. My beautiful wife, Cecilia. I love you, baby. I got a son, Trey. He's going to be 4 years old in July. And, they're just my motivation. I'm blessed to have both my parents alive. And, my in-laws, they're amazing people. Been super supportive through our journey. And I just want to give all the glory to God and, the people that support us.
Amen. No, definitely. What started you in? I guess since we're talking a little bit about financial planning,
yeah,
while standing on business is the name of the game, right?
Yeah,
getting started is the most crucial step in any business or even personal improvement journey.
Mm-hmm.
There is one key factor that might get overlooked once you begin to find that success, though. Once you find success, people forget that there's that planning of your most importantly your financial planning, right?
Absolutely.
What is the first step to a healthy financial plan in business or even for your own personal life?
What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like you got to have goals. If you want to buy a house, we're able to help you. We put you in a game plan. If you're looking to get out of debt, when do you want to get out of debt? Because it's one thing to say you want to get out of debt, but if you don't have a deadline, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have, a guideline, I can't help you. So you got to tell me exactly what you want.
Yeah, that's strong, man. It's goals and having one thing we talked about in one of our first episodes was the SMART goal setting method. A specific goal, measurable goal, an attainable goal. It's not like I want a Ferrari by next week, right? And a relative goal to your life purpose, right? And all within a time measured. So that's a SMART goal setting method. If you guys are just tapping in, check it out on one of our previous episodes. Yeah. But anyways, how does life insurance? I know that's kind of where I'm kind of starting to grasp this all right now. As you're saying, you want to be a financial advisor or planner, right? That's what the ultimate goal is.
Mm-hmm. That's the ultimate goal.
How does life insurance tie in with financial planning?
So think of it as building a house, right? Would you build a house without a foundation?
No.
So life insurance is just the foundation. So a lot of times, let's say something happened to you, like you lose your house today, and you're married and you have kids. You're the breadwinner, right? Yeah. So if something were to happen to you, not only do they lose you, what else do they lose?
Everything.
They lose the income, right?
Oh yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure you don't have millions of dollars put away, and of course funeral costs and you have expenses. So life insurance is basically, it gives you that foundation to at least cover those expenses. They may not have your soul and your body, but at least you protected them to where they would have, that protection. They would have it.
Yeah. No, that's so. And then Yeah, that kind of makes sense now that you're saying you got to financially have that foundation.
Yeah.
And then in the long run, a financial planner comes in and kind of says your whole vision, your whole plan, your whole goals, financial goals, right?
So eventually, because life insurance, think of it as like renting wealth until you establish wealth. Because a lot of people think that life insurance is really an expense, or it's, you know, it's too expensive, or they just don't know how it works. But if you really take the grasp of what it really does as far as, you know, protecting you in case something happens, you know, think of it this way. Like you do real estate, and I'm pretty sure if something were to happen, you want to call the real estate agent, and you're going to be like, well, I don't know what to do. You know, I feel sorry for you, but
yeah,
like, I just sold you the house. I mean, but I mean, did you set a life insurance in place? Did you have anything in place, somebody to help you in case that part happens? And this is where we come in. So, and I feel like real estate and financial services goes hand in hand.
I was just gonna say it's good to have some, you know, different network of people in your network that can, you know, someone that's a financial planner I can call. Hey, I just sold you this house. I really, congratulations. You know, everyone gets really excited when they buy a house. But let's start talking about, you know, I know it's a little bit of a touchy subject. I don't want to get too involved in your business, but you might want to start talking about financial planning or insurance on these things and planning for the long run. You know what I mean? Because it's not a matter of if something goes wrong. It's a matter of when it goes wrong or something bad happens or, you know, what have you. And that's kind of... honestly, something I need to. We need to talk after the show a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother.
Definitely.
I definitely got you, man.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. What started you in the business? What got you motivated to do that?
So, believe it or not, it was part-time income. So, my wife's matron of honor, she actually got into the business, and I met my mentor that day.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I had a bad day at work, and you know, I was like, man, don't have them come over. You know, I just want to drink. I don't want to deal with anybody.
I hear you.
And my wife, she's so dedicated. She's such a sweet and amazing woman. She's like, no, we told them that they can come over, have an open mind, at least listen to them. Just don't say no, right? And I already had life insurance at the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's just more like supporting her.
Uh-huh.
And then my mentor comes in smiling, you know, big old smile. And I'm like, okay, I feel at ease because, you know.
Okay.
I'm already like, I don't deal with nobody, but it's just he was just so relaxed and just, you know, was at ease, and he, you know, he showed me what was wrong with my plan and why I should go this route.
Yeah.
And then just showed me exactly what my other life insurance was doing. So not only did he educate me, but he also offered me an opportunity to get into the business.
Nice.
And I was like, you know what? I do want more people to learn like how they're getting ripped off with some of these policies that, you know, I was sold.
Yeah.
And some of them you see on TikTok. You know. And I don't want to go too deep into that, but I mean that's another conversation.
No, for sure. And I think to me, sales is always. I've been in sales for at least 7 years or more, 7 plus years for sure. And I've learned that the most important part of sales is education.
Yeah.
Learning and teaching, like, because I've had people come in like, I want the sports car, and I want, you know, I used to sell cars for anybody that's watching and doesn't understand. I used to sell cars, and people would be like, and I, you know, the salesman is going to come in and be like, yeah, there's the 2-door coupe, and then he has the baby with him, and he's got the wife, and she's got a big old belly with another baby, and the guys, I'm like, well, hold on, let's talk about this for a minute. You don't understand that this car has, well, first off, 2 doors, right? You know? And let's really think about this, right? And then it comes down to, you know, showing them, well, look at this 4-door, at least this 4-door car, or like this SUV that's a little bit even the same. You know, start educating a little bit about what could be beneficial.
Absolutely,
definitely. So in that aspect, I'm sure your career is all about educating, and that's very powerful for you to be able to take that leap into it, knowing that you have the confidence to teach.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I get that from my mother. My mother's a teacher.
Yeah, okay. So,
I mean,
that's good, man.
So definitely shout out to my mother for always teaching.
Definitely. You know, shout out moms. What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is Deborah.
Deborah, yeah.
She's watching right now, too. She's actually in Texas visiting my sister.
Oh, nice. Shout out moms. Thanks for tuning in. We got a chat right now, Risha. She said, great way to think about, I think, not when we mentioned something about, it's not a matter of if something goes wrong, it's a matter of when it goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
But no, were you taught? So then you did have someone teaching you at a young age. You did have someone maybe pushing, maybe not so much entrepreneurship, but self-improvement.
So my dad actually owns a business.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad owns a DJ business, Can Do Productions.
Yeah.
So he's been doing it for, I think he's going on 30 years.
Yeah.
And I remember my parents bought a house in San Marcos, and my dad said, "Hey, I want to start a business." And he told me, "Hey son, you can help me, just draw me a logo on a napkin." So I drew this logo and I gave it to my dad, and then like a week later, he gets his business card with like my design on it, and I was just like,
your hand drawn logo or what? Yeah. That's interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so learning like entrepreneurship, my dad would take me a lot to his meetings, a lot to events, like
Strong.
the ones that I could go to.
Strong.
Because
Wow.
my dad's a wedding DJ, so there's certain events that he couldn't take me to because of my age, but the ones that he could take me to, I learned a lot from it, and just like how he talks to people,
Wow.
how he.
It's in the blood. Then it's at this point. It was hereditary for you to be a businessman. I like that, and I asked that because some people will be given opportunities like start here. Here's a college fund. Go to whatever college you want. But then some people are like, "Oh no, I don't have enough money for you to go to school. What are you thinking? Just get a job and go do this." And some people will, with that college fund set in place, will for lack of better words, fuck it off. You know what I mean? And then the people without the college fund, without any type of, will be like, no, I'm gonna race to the top. I got it. It's again mindset. Or I didn't say it, but it is mindset. It's all about mindset. What you decide to do with it. So that's strong, man. And I shout out mom and dad. For it's in the genes. It's in the genes. And so did you? I know we talked about this a little earlier, but did you go to college?
I did. So I went to Cal State Northridge 4 years. I went for engineering, and I did the thing, fuck it off.
Yeah.
My parents had that conversation with my dad coming home, but then, he told me, "Hey, if you're gonna go to college, you're gonna have to do it on your own this time." So I ended up getting financial aid. Doing it on my own, working a part-time job. My parents were such supporters. Even when I made mistakes, they've always walked me through it. Throughout life. So
yeah. Shout out mom and dad again, man. That's strong, definitely. Yep. And I know you mentioned that you had drawn that logo for your dad's business.
Yeah.
Was it decent, or like were you a good drawer at the time?
Well, I was actually pretty good. So in high school, I took a class in my senior year, and I was actually debating on going to art school or going to a university and doing engineering. But I was drawing roads. Like my dad's like, "Hey, you should just be an engineer." I was like, "All right, bet."
Yeah.
But but the thing was, like, math wasn't necessarily my strongest subject.
I don't know
like,
whose it is.
I got to calculus, and I was just like, man, this is like a foreign language. I was done.
No, yeah, it's. I think my younger brother, he's a math advocate, and
wow.
but he can't read. He can't read for shit. Shout out, Big Robert. You know I love you, man. But he's a math major. He actually got his associates in math, and now he's going to be an IT. But yeah, no, there's a lot of different routes you take. So what did you do with did you get a degree in engineering?
No, so I actually got a degree in business, and then I ended up getting my master's, my MBA at Argus University, and I had it with a concentration in marketing.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, so business and business and standing on top of it. That's what it is.
So education was real big in our family, and regardless, I've started something, I'm going to finish, and that's one thing that my dad would preach. If you're going to start something, got to finish it.
That was going to go into my next question. You answered right there. Where did your mindset, your motivational mindset come from? It just seems like it was just hereditary.
It was hereditary. It's just, the examples of my parents.
That's awesome, man. That's great. No, that's definitely a big W for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes the motivation comes from the trenches. You know what I mean? The motivation comes from, there's different walks of life. We all have different mindsets. So, it can come from watching it happen or the lack of watching it happen. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and I just want to thank my parents for bringing that example.
Definitely.
I really do.
Yeah, no, for sure. I thank them too, because man, I see you coming in with the nice quotes on Facebook, the motivational quotes, and putting people on. I'm sure people are intimidated by that. To be honest, like you said, you're intimidated about. Like, you seen the door knocking quest that I'm on right now? I just actually got back from door knocking for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And but I got to keep going. I got to keep standing on business. That's what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely.
But people are gonna be, when they hear me say like, why aren't you door knocking?
Yeah.
Or like you want to grow. Why aren't you growing? A little, maybe not so black and white, but there's a lot of motivational things that some people are just like, not today, not today. You know what I mean? And it's like, why not?
Yeah.
It's not tomorrow might not come.
It's true.
You know what I mean? So let's get it right now while we can. And so, I mean, that's a big part of it, man. It's just still pushing through with the motivational, and you know, personality than anything.
Yes, sir.
But as an entrepreneur, you are your own schedule maker. You're your own marketing team. You're even sometimes your own janitor.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
I guess my point is to do it all on your own for the beginning of your career until it really starts to take off, so you can begin to delegate these tasks. Do you have routines to help maintain your disciplines and keep these parts of your business running smoothly?
So, I mean, it's funny you bring that up. So, in my office, in my house, I actually have this little calendar, right? So, every day is pretty much planned. So, I know I wake up at 4 in the morning, you know, I go to the gym for an hour, and then I do my study session for my SIE class. Because, I mean, of course, you know, if I want to pass this test, I'm working with an amazing woman, Tania McGinnis. You know, she's such an amazing person, you know, giving me homework assignments and holding me accountable.
Hell yeah, that's strong.
Because, I mean, hey, I failed that test a couple of times. I'm like, look, if I'm going to pass it, I'm going to need some help, and I'm going to need you to hold me accountable to it.
Yeah.
And and she said, hey, like, I'm going to make you work. I'm like, all right, let's do it, because I failed it twice on my own, and I'm not getting anywhere. So if you're going to help me, I'm going to follow your lead.
Yeah, sometimes it takes that accountability. It takes that, it takes something external, more, something to push you. And even though you might have it, you might have, like you said, the motivational mindset and stuff like that. It does take a little bit more.
Even the motivator needs to be motivated.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, what are some other systems or routines that you use for goal setting methods?
So, and the same thing, like, I actually saw Natasha Graziano. She was one of the top female speakers in Forbes. And I had the honor of seeing her in Pomona a couple of months ago. And one of the things that she was talking about was scripting. So you would have to start writing down your goals. Like if you want an income goal, you have to write it down. So if you see it, you're going to obtain it. But if you're kind of like thinking about it, if you're looking at your phone, it's not going to be the same as if you just see it like, look, I need to make this amount of money. So, and if you see it every day, that's what you're going to do. So if I see in my calendar, hey, I got this meeting, even though you might have it on your phone, you might have it in different, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me find it. But you know where I'm going at.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you see it like right in front of you, you'll know. 100%. Like, hey, I know I got a meeting at 7:00, and if I see it on my calendar, like right there in my whiteboard where I can see it, I can't forget that. No. But if I'm on my phone, of course you get notifications. Of course you get your TikTok, get your emails, get your bank accounts, and all that other stuff that pops
gets
up.
Swallowed up live. It gets swallowed and everything.
Up, and they're like, "Oh man, I got an appointment. Oh man, I missed it."
Yeah. Like you're looking back at all your notifications past the and then it goes down at the bottom. It's like you have 2 hours ago you were supposed to be here.
Like, oh man.
Yeah.
And then you gotta call back. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, well.
It's disorganization.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I've been one of the most ADHD disorganized individuals out there. But once I started to realize that there's a system, there's processes and that the highly effective follow the highly productive and effective, they follow these things, and it's things like time blocking, smart goal setting methods. And these are all things that we've talked about in the past episodes. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't realize all of this until I started to really lock in on these things, and for most importantly, lock in on kicking vices. Yeah. Absolutely. Kicking vices was the biggest thing for me. I had all these things distracting me. Alcohol. Yeah. Being one of them. But once I kicked all those things, it started to realize like, there's only time. Now I have a bunch of time. Now let me write down my calendar, write down my schedule, time block, things like that.
Yeah, and even though like people say it's old school, but sometimes old school works too. Yeah. I mean, my dad, he'll still have his calendar on his desk in his office at his home, and he'll still write things down. Like, let me go on my calendar just to make sure. I'm like, Dad, you can do it on your phone. And this is when I had no idea like why you should write it down, because I'm in college, and like, get a smartphone. And my dad, for the longest, would not get a smartphone. Yeah. And he's like, no, I would do it this way. But going back to that, it made sense why he did that. Going in business for myself. Yeah. it made a lot of sense.
Like a pocketbook, or what was it like?
So he had his main calendar in his office. Like, he would write it down like in a notepad and then go home and translate it to the calendar.
Oh yeah.
So even though like you could put it on your phone, again, like with technology now, you get a notification for everything.
Yeah, and then you if you only do it once at the same time, like you did it once, and it's hard to like go back and you really only don't learn too many things until you concrete it and write it down again or look at it again. And when you put it on the phone, you text it down, you're like, all right, cool. Yeah. And then you move on, and then notification, like you said, notification, and then it's just like, oh man, like,
yeah,
don't even remember it anymore. But when you write it down one time, all right, I kind of have it in my head. And we look back at my book, then you write it down another time. You're like on your calendar, you start to remember these things. You start to put it all down.
Absolutely,
that's strong. And you mentioned your accountability partner. How long have you like been open to that? Been open to having accountability or accountability partner?
So it was actually this year, 2024. I mean, a little bit about like my history in business. Back in 2020, when when COVID happened, and I built a small team. I was licensed in 5 states, so I had a small little agency going. And then the one thing that I failed to do was actually lead people. Like, I would just recruit them. Some of them will get licensed. I would kind of like take it by chance that they would do it on their own. But I felt as a leader to actually tell them the importance of going to trainings, the importance of what we did. And I mean, and that was just me just thinking I'd do it by chance, because they're grown people. Like, I didn't want to feel like I was a boss. I mean, I've been a manager in previous roles in corporate America, and I just didn't want to be that person.
Yeah, you're like, this is entrepreneurship. Like, if you want it that bad, you're gonna go for it that bad, right?
But at the same time, I feel like as a leader, I still have to explain like why it's important.
Exactly.
I have to
teach
explain.
that, teach those habits, teach. They don't know that they need to show up to meetings. They think, oh, it's gonna come. Or I know even as a realtor, I think sometimes like, okay, now I'm a licensed realtor. Now business is gonna start coming my way, and I'm gonna start doing things, and it's gonna come. And then I wake up the next day, I'm like, all right, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah. But now I realized 4 years in, I need to go to network events. I need to go talk to lawyers and real estate attorneys and things like that, and even network with other real estate agents and see if I can even be a helping hand on certain things. Because for me personally, with pride and thinking like, I don't want to do a 50-50 with anybody. Yeah. I don't need to. I'll do it on my own. I want to make a hole of a hole. You know what I mean? But a hole of nothing is.
You still made nothing.
Yeah. 50% of something is a little. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, definitely taking that into account, and that's what, as your team, as a probably a new boss of a team, you kind of you're still learning those things yourself.
Absolutely, and we're always learning. I mean, like, I just got a new licensed agent, and like before, like, just trying to get him to be uncomfortable. I mean, like, he's kind of like an introvert, like, but he's more like, I want to know everything right away. And I'm like, think of it like this, like, would you go to war and shoot all your bullets, and then you don't hit anything, and then when you finally get your target, you can't hit your target? Yeah. So this is why I'm, feeding him bits and pieces. So before I teach you this, you have to learn to master this, because there's levels to it. And the same thing like with real estate, and that's why with going to the meetings, I'm pretty sure like your mentor is always going to tell you like, hey, before I teach you this, you have to master this. You have to master, talking to people. Right. You have to get out of your comfort zone and actually ask for the business.
Yeah, there's the different strengths and weaknesses, and somebody might have that strength and weakness.
So, I mean, and then learning from, and now, he's putting his stuff on LinkedIn, putting his stuff on Facebook, going on Instagram, making phone calls. And like he said, hey, like, I got, appointments coming. Like, hey, I got this, this young kid is super hungry. I want you to meet him. I was like, okay.
Now he's out there.
Now he's out there. I'm
you
like,
start
okay.
To because he might be this person might be a very educational. They're willing to take on any education as possible, but in this business of sales, you got to be personable.
You just gotta do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Taking imperfect action before anything, and when you start to educate yourself too much, not that it's bad. But in sales, you get what's called analysis paralysis, right? You know what I mean? You're over there trying to learn everything, and then like you're learning everything, but you're not talking to anybody, making any sales.
Absolutely. I mean, you're just like feeding information. It's like, okay, great. It's just like when you talk to somebody and you're telling them what you do, but then you pretty much give the whole presentation, and then it's like, okay, well, I don't need to meet you because you already told me everything.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So and then you put them on a meeting, and it's like, well, you just said this. You spent like 30 minutes of my time explaining what you did.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things. It's like, why are you doing everything but making deals?
Yeah.
But getting clients. You're doing everything else. You're learning all this type of stuff, but you're not like, and you're rewatching videos of things. And I guess it's good to be prepared, right? But if you're making tons of flyers and you're making tons of business cards, but you're not talking to anybody and not making any business, you're kind of just like, you're still just running around in circles in a way.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So, do you mind giving us a quick rundown of what like your business looks like and what you do with your, how you as a individual works on a daily basis, and what you do with your team, and what do you expect of your team?
So, I mean, I'm very honest with anybody that I bring into the business. So, like, if it's like a potential, like, let's say if I see you on the street, you're a sharp guy, I ask you like what you do, like, I'll bring something like, hey, I like your shoes, where get your shoes from, kind of an icebreaker, then I figure, hey, you might want to make some extra money because you like kicks.
Yeah.
So from that, I'm like, hey, like, would you like to make some extra money? Just give me 20, 30 minutes of your time. Here's my phone number. And then I'll, explain the opportunity. And if it makes sense, I'll ask you a couple questions. Like, do you see value in what I do? And, do you see yourself helping people? Do you understand that this is a business opportunity, that this is not a job, right?
Yeah.
So I have to clarify that, because when people say, like, you see ads like, oh, I can get you a job, but then when they actually have to invest money to get licenses, they're like, you said that this is a job. I'm expecting, these hours. I'm expecting, paid vacation. I'm expecting, lunchtime. I'm expecting all that. So you kind of have to let them know that this is an opportunity and you get to help families. And you have to explain up front exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that before I go ahead and tell them exactly how it works.
Yeah.
Because if they can't answer my questions, I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What kind of service or product is offered through life insurance?
So we do life insurance, and then also we help families get out of debt. So we do a debt stacking program, which I do for free. So I sit down with you, and that actually determines how much life insurance you need. So wow. Then, like, of course, I'm working on getting the investments where I can help you, start your retirement planning, college planning, short term if you're looking to buy a house or buy a car. So that's the licenses that I'm working on right now. We also do senior health care, and then we also have discounts on home and auto, and then we also do Vivint. Like, I actually have a Vivint system in my home with cameras and everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we think of us as like, your Costco of financial services.
Yeah. Multifaceted financial help.
Financial help, absolutely.
Definitely.
And the difference is I don't charge you a fee to see me.
That's awesome, man.
I don't charge a fee. I'm not like you're, an actual financial guru and like you got to pay me like $200 for my time. Like, I'm not going to do that. But I mean, but the only way that, you can help me is just introduce me to people. And if you see value in it and you see that your friends need it, your family need it, I just ask that you introduce me to them. Yeah,
no, that's great, man. It's definitely something that I see value in, and most people should see value in, and definitely take advantage. Should definitely utilize it, right?
Yeah.
Because in a world of so many possessions and material and all this type of stuff, and of course loved ones and things that are relying on those possessions, material, and financial stability.
Yeah.
It's important to back those things up by something, because I mean it's again, it's not a matter of when something goes wrong or if something goes wrong, it's when it goes wrong, right? So
absolutely.
Definitely. And I like how you mentioned something about you've been working with someone. Is she a part of your team, or
so though my
as
my
accountability partner?
So kind of how it works is, she is a sideline. She's a pastor. She's very well loved in the community and very well respected. I mean, very well educated.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just such an amazing person. I mean, every day she tells me, hey, this is what I need done. I need it done at this time. And if you don't get this done, I'm not working with you.
Wow.
And you know what? If I need that help and I need somebody to give me that kick in the butt, that's who I'm going to work with.
That's accountability. That's accountability to the max.
And I tell my mentor the same thing. Like, I had a conversation with him today, and with my current situation, I say, hey, look, if you're going to tell me to do something, I'm going to listen to you, because you're the one that's making the income, and I'm trying to get to your level.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
definitely.
I mean, and if this is what I got to do,
it's a blueprint. There's always a blueprint to success. It's not reinventing the wheel.
Mm-mm.
It's not trying to they're doing it that way, but I can do it this way. It's copy and paste.
And believe it or not, I went that opposite route when I first started. Because I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll figure it out myself.
Yeah.
Because I mean, again, if there's one way to do it, you're gonna find your way to do it.
Right. That's how we are as humans. I think pride it controls us more than we know.
Yeah.
And we think, I know how to get down. I know how to make something happen. I can make it happen. Trust me, I'll make it happen. And it really just kicks us in the butt a lot of the time.
So let me tell you a quick story. So and actually, my parents are still watching this. This is funny. So one year, my mom made this cheesecake, and my sister and I just completely devoured this cake. It was so bomb.
Yeah.
So my mom was so upset. So my sister and I, like, oh man, we can't let mom be all mad on Christmas. So we went to the store and got all the ingredients. And I remember there was no stores open. The only thing that was open was the Jack in the Box. And they charged me $1 an egg. I paid $12 for a dozen eggs to make that cheesecake. And we tried to make it. It didn't come out the same. We tried to do a little bit different. But it wasn't the way mom did it.
You were like, I'll figure this out.
But
without asking, without even, because at that point she's probably already pissed too.
This is why I learned, like, look, mama, I'm sorry for eating that cheesecake. I love you.
Yeah. I'm sure it came from the heart, you making it too, so hopefully she forgives you. No, but during all this hard work and accomplishments in your life, how do you find time for your mental health?
It's just my family.
Really?
It was really my family. Like when I met my wife, she really made me a much better person. Because I told you earlier, I had some bad relationships in the past, and I've been taken advantage of. Being kind, and this woman just been such an inspiration in my life.
That's good, man.
Even through some of my down times. If it wasn't for her, like, she keeps me going.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a strong word to live by, because sometimes, like we said it a second ago, you want to be self-sufficient, you want to be prideful that you can do it on your own, but that's kind of what I'm learning just recently. Like, maybe I just do need just one woman, you know what I mean? Maybe I do just need that one woman to hold me down.
Absolutely.
If you're watching this, come home. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Forgive this man.
Yeah,
forgive this man.
I'm just messing around. She ain't coming back. No, but that's good, man. And do you do things like in between your work, like find time for yourself and your family, and like midday recharges? Or you find those things important to your
absolutely. I call my wife, during lunchtime. We'll spend like 30 minutes just talking, just seeing how her day is going. Because my wife, she's a medical assistant over in at a health center over in Temecula. She's been doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
And it's super important to maintain that relationship. Continue to date each other, continue to love each other, and be open and honest. Like, if you're feeling some type of way, I know it's always hard. Like, as men, we don't want to express ourselves.
Yeah.
But learning to just be more emotional and just telling her how I feel. She might feel the same way.
Yeah.
But the only way is if you bring it up. And that's one thing that I've learned in marriage is you just have to continue to just talk.
Yeah, and it helps you break down those walls as like you said, as a man with an emotional guarding. Yeah. You're like, I'm not going to talk about that. I don't need to talk about that.
But and I think that's what causes a lot of like mental health, because we hold so much inside, and then rather than let's say I'm just like holding all my emotions and just things that are going on in my life, and you might say something and it might be a joke, but I'm just super serious and I just like lash out on you. But it's not even something that you said. It's just because I'm going through a lot of things in my life.
Tension in your,
and I just don't know how to deal with all of these things that are coming in. And as men, for husbands out there that, are providers or breadwinners, and, we think about that stuff all the time. Like, we want to give our wives, we want to give our kids an amazing life. And, your kids want to have Jordans on their feet, so you got to deliver that. And, your kids want to play baseball, you got to pay for that, and
Yeah.
and then like let's say you're just struggling financially and you want to give them all that, but you just don't want to tell them no. So it's just like, and this is why like a lot of men, they go through that. And
Yeah,
it's
with
just
that, yeah, just in silence, right?
in just silence, and you're just like, okay, like I know I'm gonna put this on this credit card. I know I'm gonna have to make like an extra $200-300 on the payment, but you know my son's playing baseball. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But, and that's one thing that, you know, we show families how to avoid.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Show them
definitely.
how to avoid that.
I'm
So,
sure. Yeah, I'm sure. How many kids do you have?
I just have one.
Okay.
Yep. And he's going to be 4 in July.
Congrats, man.
Yes.
It's exciting. It's exciting
Yes.
stuff, man.
Yes. And I mean, that kid is smart. I mean, he's 4 turning 40, pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's good. No, these kids are smart nowadays. It's crazy, man. These
Yeah.
kids are really smart nowadays.
YouTube. I mean, my son knows how to turn on the TV and find YouTube.
Oh yeah.
He knows how to, like, he's already starting to learn how to read now. And, you know, I mean, shout out to my mom again for, you know, teaching him.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, when we take him over to mom's house, mom's like, all right, you're doing this. You're learning this. Like, you're gonna do activities. You're not gonna sit there and watch TV all day.
She's a good nurturer and good teacher naturally. That's
Yeah.
good. What does she teach?
So she teaches kindergarten.
Okay, yeah, okay. She's really good with the young minds then.
Yeah.
I'm sure she sees a lot of these smart kids out there, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And she's setting them up for it because he's not in kindergarten yet, is he?
He's gonna be starting TK.
Nice.
Yeah, TK.
That's cool. That's
so
cool.
super excited, and he's excited too.
I'm sure he's like, I can't wait to go meet these other kids. Man, I was a kid. I just want to stay home. I don't want to go talk to nobody.
Not this guy.
That's cool, man.
Not this little man. He's super excited. Like, we'll take him to the park. He'll go up. I mean, and it's crazy. Like, you bring up door knocking because kids, believe it or not, are the most bold people ever. Like, watching my son go up to somebody, hey, you want to play with me?
Yeah.
No. And then go to the next person. Hey, you want to play with me?
Oh
No.
yeah, he gets from his daddy though.
You wanna
That
play
is.
with me? And then finally somebody plays with him. Like, well, shoot, if he can do it, why can't I do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
like, no fear.
Yeah, definitely.
No fear.
Definitely. I think going to the door knocking thing, people are afraid of stepping into other people's territory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it was you would imagine you put this thing in your head like when you're in someone else's territory, you're triggering or they're easier to be like I guess rude or do something really bad, I guess, or pull out a gun. And I've heard that a bunch of times. It's like pull out a gun when you're door knocking. But it's the way I look at things is as long I'm gonna challenge myself and challenge my I don't want to say just anything, but everything that is positive in my life that seems scary or hard or difficult. I'm gonna challenge it because as long as I don't die, that's the worst possible outcome.
Yeah, or
no. Or get a no.
Or get a no.
Or get a fuck off. You know what I mean? Like if someone tells me fuck off, like okay,
all right, see you later.
Nothing else. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I was telling we actually are partners in the door knocking. The guy behind the camera right now. And I was telling him, I don't want to work with those people anyways. They sound like a headache. Yeah. You know what I mean? If that's how they are, when they're dealing with something that I'm here to help and they can benefit from. They probably sound like a headache anyways. And there's gonna be someone else that's gonna say, "Please help me." Yeah. There's gonna be that next person that's really willing to work with me. Yep. That it just makes it, So just always move on from that sort of stuff.
So one thing that I've learned, and I actually learned this when I went to a meeting, like there was this guy that actually counted all the no's that he had, and counted as income. So like in our business, you make a certain amount of income. So like let's say you get like for every 10 no's you get a yes, right? And then, think of law of averages. So he figures like, and this guy's making like $300,000 a year in the industry, by the way. Yeah. So he's like, for every no, this is how much I'm getting paid an hour. Yeah, yeah. So he's like, look, I'm getting paid $300 an hour.
The key performance indicators are saying that for every no, I'm getting paid $300 a no.
I'm getting $300 a no. So you're just like, well, I mean, it's going to lead to a yes. And I mean, in the beginning of any business, you're going to get a lot of no's. I mean, because, people like fake it till you make it, or, you don't have enough experience, or, you couldn't answer my questions. I mean, in the beginning, it was like that for me too. Like, I would just go just based on what I knew.
Fail forward, though.
But now, do my homework, learning about the different policies, learning about the industry, know what I can say and can't say, and even like some of the things that we said in the beginning, like don't call me a financial advisor. It's gonna be against, I don't want to get in trouble.
The legalities. Of it, right?
Legalities of it. But I'm like, all right, cool.
Right. Yeah. I got you.
I mean, even before, because that happened to me before. Like when someone called me a financial advisor, and someone actually called me out and said, "But you don't have all your licenses, so you can't call yourself that."
Oh wow.
And I'm like, okay, you're absolutely right. So, thank you for telling me that. I will never say that. Even though, I work with people that can help me do the investments, I can't call myself that if I'm not fully licensed.
Right. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
And I feel like a lot of people like, oh, I can, people want to keep it for themselves or wait until they get the license. And then turns out, if you can't really do the full job, or if you're not, like you said, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Yeah. There's always tons of education you can get. But I mean, doing the action, taking the experience, and learning from that is probably gonna be the most golden experience. So I mean, educate yourself, but give it a try. Yeah, take that first step. Go knock on a door. Get it. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Just have someone tell you to fuck off. You know what I mean? Which is fine. It's totally fine if you're trying to learn, if you want to gain experience, if you want to, and that's kind of what it's funny. I was at this point last week in all of this. I'm like, dang, dude, like I'm not getting no one's picking up my phone calls. Like I'm not getting the results that I want. I need a mentor. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I know what the heck I'm doing. Like I've been doing this long enough. Yeah. I just need to get out there and do it. Yeah. What's the one thing that, and it's like, I guess this is personalized to me and probably anybody in sales, but like in entrepreneur sales anyways, like let me just get out there and door knock. Yeah. Let me just get out there and just try what I'm not doing. Like do something different. And so I'm doing it now. We actually locked up a contract. Let's go. Second day in. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. We're looking at a couple more, kind of a couple more in the works, but And our whole thing, like I know it sounds, people that are watching the series that I'm doing on my realtor page, it may sound like I'm just coming to people like, oh, you're in a bad situation, give me your house. Like, I don't even start there. I go and say, I'm not here to buy your house. I'm here to actually stop your house from getting, from you losing your house. Yeah. And I want to be here to help and do that for you and give you all the advice that you might need. Now, if the last option is you can't do it, you've already been through it, A, B, C, D, and E, like maybe you might actually need to but we do help with that too. Sometimes people are going to be like, oh, well, you're just the advisor. You're just the consultant. You buy houses too? We buy houses too. Yeah. We're here to help with that. I'm a realtor also, so I can help you list the house, but sometimes that's not the best option either because they only have so much time, right? Yeah. So, but anyways, any advice, going back to the whole mental health thing, any advice you can give to anybody that might be dealing with depression or anxiety or even ADHD? You just gotta talk about it. Yeah. You gotta be open to talk about it. I mean, it's always a touchy subject because, it really is a medical disease. Yeah. And, of course, there's medications, but a lot of it is just talking about it. Yeah. I mean, I've had friends that have gone through it and, and especially like with everything going on in the job market and they just go depressed because they're so used to having a certain lifestyle, getting paid a certain amount of money. And then when that's taken away from them, it's kind of like it takes a part of them. Mm-hmm. So they immediately like shut down, like they don't want to talk. Yeah. Like they don't want to hang out. And it's just like, look, bro. And it's just like, again, it's just as men, just being prideful. Like, I don't need to talk about it. I'm going to figure it out. But it's like, you just got to sometimes just like let it out and just say, hey, that's look. True. And even just like letting it out, there might be solutions to it. Like, hey, I might have an opportunity for you. Yeah. I might be able to connect you with somebody. Yeah. But if you stay quiet, closed mouths don't get fed. Yeah, absolutely. That's the truth. I think that's why this podcast is so easy for me. I'm an open book. I'll talk about how she took the dog. I'll talk about how, all day long. You guys, until people are like, all right, man, you just want your pity party. Like, give it up already. And so that's why I'm not talking about that on this episode. I got a couple episodes back. You guys, but no, it's I'm that way, and you're right. Now to hear it from an outer perspective, I do definitely feel better when I'm, because some people are probably like, man, like. You're bumming me out, But like at the same time, like I'm letting it out. I'm letting it out, and now. I mean, because eventually, once you talk about it enough, eventually you're gonna stop talking about it. I mean, it's just like we've all gone through heartbreaks in our life. I mean, and I talked before in the episode where, you know, I went through some things. And,
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, sometimes I get a little emotional about it. But
Yeah.
it's just like you learn from it. And if anything, it led me to my wife. It led me to the love of my life. So if I didn't go through like those bad apples and you know those bad situations, I wouldn't have learned what a good woman is.
Yeah.
You have to learn from bad to get good. Just like with certain people in your life that, you know, you thought were your friends, and then you really like take a second. And I'll actually tell you a quick story. So I had a friend that I've known for years. I'm talking about like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was in the process of getting my house built. You know, he came out from Nebraska. He was doing the job. And, you know, it's just his vibe was completely off. Like, you know, he's like, oh, I got my house in Nebraska. I only pay $1,000 a month for my mortgage. Like, he was just talking about himself. And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm clapping for you. Congratulations. You know, at that time, I'm living in a 2-bedroom apartment, still trying to get my finances together, living below my means until I'm in a position to buy a house. So then, you know, he comes out. I'm like, hey, bro, like, I want to show you something. Like, you know, my wife and I, you know, purchased this home, you know, and it's just in a beautiful location. I mean, you know, the mountains and everything.
Right.
And I show it to him. And then, you know, my wife's, you know, driving her, you know, her new truck.
Yeah.
You know, she pulls up, and, you know, I'm driving, you know, my little bucket car.
Hell yeah, it's
and then,
alright.
And then he, you know, he goes up, he's like, dude, you're materialistic. I was like, I'm materialistic?
It's
So
crazy.
How am I materialistic?
That's
I mean,
crazy.
You know, I worked hard for it. You know, I you know, made some plans. You know, I scripted it. I put a plan together, and I made it work out. So why can't my wife drive that car? Why can't we have this house? Like, I've worked hard for it. Just like
Absolutely.
you worked hard for yours. Why can't I have mine?
It's all part of the plan. It's all part of your plan, and that's the way you. It's okay. Yeah, and yeah, it's difficult to deal with.
So and
different relationships and different.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like we're just having breakfast one day, and he was just like telling me like, it was just out of left field, just saying that I'm just materialistic, that I'm changing, and you know, I'm wearing Jordans to the gym. I mean, look, I like Jordans. Like, I work hard. I want to wear some Jordans. I want to wear some Nike.
Yeah, why not?
I wear New Balances. I mean, and believe it or not, New Balances are starting to get expensive too.
Yeah, oh yeah. Big ominous. My cousin, he's like, check these. He shows me these shoes, and they're like dad shoes or something.
Yeah, but they're pricey now.
But yeah, they're I guess
they
they're
are
popular.
pricey. So I was like, look, man, you know, I'm happy that that's how you live, but this is how I want to live. And
Yeah.
you know, I want my wife, I want my son to look fresh, get nice haircuts. I mean, he knows the kind of haircut he wants. He goes up to the barber. He's like, hey, I want a mohawk, and I want it down this way.
Yeah.
At 3 years old, and he just sits there like this. He sits like this.
Oh wow, man!
Just sits like a professional. And you know, Alan the barber. Shout out to Alan the barber. I mean,
yeah,
this dude had him so fresh. He was just like, yeah. See, I want haircuts like this.
That's cool.
At
man.
3 years old, know what he wanted. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As long as you know what you want and you plan it out and you put it in perspective, you put it into like it's in the plan.
Yeah.
And you know that you're gonna cut back here, you're gonna cut back there, and you're gonna afford what you want.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that.
No,
I mean,
no,
you
no,
work
no.
hard, man. I mean, this. I mean, my main mentor. I mean, Mario Arizon. Shout out to him. I mean, this dude sells a dream. Like he literally built a private resort in his property in Riverside.
Oh wow.
I mean, like if you look at his Instagram and you'll just look, he literally has like a lazy river, a little putting green. I mean, this dude has like a track with like race cars. I mean, this thing just looks like something you would see in like in National Geographic, something like that. It's just like, it's amazing to see this. I mean, and it's like to see that, to know that that's possible, to know like who you surround yourself with, like, you know, like they say, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
So when you see people that do that, that's possible.
It's motivation too.
And, you know, some people say, oh, he's showing off his money, but like if you really like pay attention to what he's really doing, he's showing you that that's possible.
Yeah.
You know, he came from humble beginnings.
Yeah.
You know, he came from real humble beginnings.
It's part of his plan. It's not like you know,
yeah,
someone like me that has no real plan. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't feel very good telling you that, but
hey, but you know, it's good to know that now, because I mean, in the beginning, I didn't have a plan either.
Yeah,
but it wasn't until, you know, I sat down and said, hey, what do I really want?
Yeah,
like in order for my wife to take me seriously, like I have to show her that, you know, I'm about something. Yeah, she's not gonna follow me if I don't have a plan, if I can't lead her, and even if things go wrong, like, okay, what's your next move? Like, and that's exactly what my wife said. Okay, what's your next move?
It's you know, like what I was gonna say is like for someone like me with no real plan, I go and say, yeah, you know what? Let's take out that big loan. Let's get the backyard done. Let's get this, let's get the water slide that we want.
Yeah.
All on a little, it don't work like that, and it's not. That's being materialistic and overstepping, and definitely a struggle for sure. But I definitely agree with you on that. Just talking about the problems. Talking about your relationships and who you had bad connections with, or may have had good connections with, but then it kind of because this thing is people around for seasons. I feel like
like one guy told me people are either in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
That's what I was trying to think of. Right, I was trying to think that. I've heard that too before.
Shout out to Jeff Lopez for teaching me that. Again, he's also an entrepreneur out there. I mean, super cool guy. We keep each other accountable on Snapchat with the workouts.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, we definitely gotta connect a lot more. I'm thinking about it now because it's like I definitely need to come up with my plan. I definitely need to realize where I'm going with all this, because I mean, sometimes I think to myself like I want to work hard.
Yeah.
But that's why I asked you earlier, like, do you find time for your mental breaks?
Yeah.
You work hard all day long, but I mean, how hard could you work for how long? You know what I mean? And I burn myself out a lot. I burn myself out. I wake up early in the morning to do my physical performances, and then I go off and start doing my business performances, and then I keep working, and then I keep working to my creative performances, and I don't even know when to stop, and because I feel like there's no plan. You know what I mean? And someone like you said, like someone like you're in Riverside with this big resort like property, it's you learn a little bit. I'm sure he's got a lot of sauce to speak on.
Oh, I mean, you should follow him on in Murray, Arizona. We actually got an event going on tomorrow. I'll send you the info. You got to check it out, man.
That'd be cool, man.
I mean
definitely. I try to come around a lot more often, man. Definitely. That's I need to surround myself around mentalities, and you try to, grow and learn off of that, because there's a lot of things that a lot of obviously things that are openly available.
Mm-hmm.
Go down to the bar, go down to the casino, go down to the club, all day long. But like, there's not enough. Those things, the entrepreneur meetups, the networking events, those things are kind of hidden in plain sight. They're there.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're there. It's just you're not looking for it.
Right, that's the truth.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
And that's shout out to my realtor. She has a networking event, to appreciate like the clients that bought from her, and she's always inviting us. So for me, being an entrepreneur, that can be potential business for me.
Right.
So if I have time, like, hey, wait a minute, if I don't have anything going on, and hey, my wife and I are just chilling on the couch, and of course you gotta have that downtime too.
Of course.
So I'm like, hey, babe, why don't we, spend a couple hours and let's see if we can, find some people that see value in what we do. I mean, because again, like, in order for people to have real estate, what's the next step?
For sure.
Once the realtor gets the house, it's like they'll like call you to see like how things are going. Like, hey, you're looking to sell a house, you're looking to buy another property.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking to buy land. Like, what's your next move? Like,
providing more value in a way, more than just that one avenue. Providing financial success in certain ways is strong.
Because even with real estate, there, like I said, like, goes hand in hand. Because real estate, you can definitely build wealth off of real estate. You know, and I've seen people like say, well, if you put all your money in real estate, but it's like you still want to have something just in case, because the only problem with real estate is just it's hard to liquidate. It takes a long time.
It's a long run.
It's a process. So but it's definitely worth it to have it in the long run, because then you can build that income and find renters.
Yeah.
So like I said, there's always value, and that's how come, like, for me, I feel like it's important to have real estate. Like, I'm blessed to be able to have real estate. Yeah. I'm blessed to be able to pass that down to my son.
Absolutely.
Or if I want to rent it, I can, make income off of that, and cash flow, build it, buy my dream house, put on land, and do the water slide and do what Mario Harrison is doing. So I want to be able to do that too. So why not? Have a couple donkeys, run across the property.
Yeah, Merino Valley or what?
Yep, Richie Canyon.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. And we were just talking about how these things are openly available to network. They are openly available, and they're open in plain sight, right? Yeah. And then there's things that are more just like, I guess, I don't want to say advocated, but it's just like, it's just a normal thing to hear. Like, oh, it's Friday, Saturday night. We're going to go out and get drunk. We're going to go out and, do this at the club. We're going to go, we're gonna be out all night. Come,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like I guess in I'm not gonna lie, in the life that I live, it's kind of like a normal thing. I don't know how it's probably not as normal for someone that lives a different life that's doing different things.
Yeah.
Do you have any vices or bad habits that get in the way of your productivity?
So in the beginning, like I'm not gonna lie, like when I first started business, I was drinking. I'd smoke weed. I'm no saint. Like I've done those things.
Absolutely.
And it's just because the influences, working in corporate America. Because I had a boss that also smoked weed.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna do it too. Like if I hit my sales goal on Wednesday, I'm going on Friday and I'm smoking a bowl with him.
Hell yeah.
I'm getting drunk with him.
Yeah.
And then I'm passing out, and then I'm coming home, and my wife's looking at me like,
again.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
Again. I'm like, I hit my sales goal. But it doesn't matter, like,
yeah.
And then what actually helped me stop drinking. So, my son is adopted, and and I was sleeping on the couch, and I was just drunk on the couch.
Oh.
And my son just slapped the bejesus out of me, and I woke up, and I'm like holding this beer in my hand, like I'm just passed out, and it's like, you know what, my son's not gonna see me like this ever again.
Yeah.
So it was just like
strong.
Yeah, I want to be a better example for him. So it's like, moving forward, the moves that I'm making, it's like when he sees me on Zooms, helping clients, or if I'm in meetings, talking to my mentor.
That's the example you want him to see, not the example.
Yeah. So he's like, let me get on the typewriter. Hey, Daddy, I want to get on the Zoom. I want to say hi to people. Like, and I'm like, yeah, like,
it's awesome. Hey, it's in the genes, man. It's hereditary. Yeah, he's gonna learn to.
Just follow example. And my dad did the same thing. He did networking events, so. Following his example and just taking it one step further and just keeping the generation going. So.
Yeah, I have some friends from back home that are advocates of the podcast as well, and he, we're all trying to hold each other accountable to not drinking and smoking and stuff like that, and I was like, do it for your daughter, dude. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Do it for the little one that's watching. She doesn't need to see you like that all the time. No, you know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? When you come over, we get together. Hey, man, do your thing. You know what I mean? When she's not watching. You know what I mean? But don't go crazy. But shout out to Kyle, man. I hope you're watching. I know he's been tuning in a lot, and it is the reality is, you can hold yourself accountable. I'm sure you seem like the type that you quit. That was it.
Yeah.
I quit for I think 45, 60 days or something like that.
Yeah.
And I went on a little bit of a rager the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
With what I was talking about earlier, had the whole traumatic situation, but no, it's definitely a part of growth and a part of finding your productivity, rather than, because when you do drink and smoke, it's taking up your time.
It does. You
know what I mean? That Friday night you could have been in working on the next project. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, like we mentioned before, you want to find your breaks. You want to find your balance. Mm-hmm. But I mean, when there's time to work and there's extra time to work on your dreams. Yeah. Because we have that mainstream income that's probably not your creative outlet. It's probably not your most enjoyable activity. Mm-hmm. But you do want to draw. You do want to make music. You do want to do things. You have that little bit of extra time on that Friday night rather than going out to drink with your friends, because you have the energy to go out to drink with your friends till 2 a.m.
Absolutely.
Not you necessarily, but that individual would have time. And then where was that time? Well, why couldn't you spend that till at 2 a.m. making a new project? You know what I mean?
Putting it towards your craft and then perfecting it. Yeah. Like even just reading up on something on real estate. Paying attention to what's going on with the markets.
Mm-hmm. Your own business as well. So, definitely.
And that's something that even I do in my industry. Like, hey, what's going on? In the insurance industry? What's going on in the financial industry? Like, what stocks are doing well? Like, even if I'm not fully licensed, I still need to know. Where to put people's money in, like when that time comes.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And that's what started this whole journey. That's what started this whole podcast. Accountability, kicking vices, just eliminating things that are taking time away from finding our next level in success. Yeah. And definitely I would advocate, for all of you that are watching and that might be still smoking weed, drinking alcohol just for that feeling, and I said the same thing. Yeah, I said, "Oh, I don't need to stop," and it makes you feel. I like the way I'm uncomfortable, or it helps me sleep. It helps me deal with something that I don't want to deal with. What are you so afraid of? Yeah. Right? Why are you guys so scared? Why would you be so scared to to have an uncomfortable feeling. Because when there's resistance, when you're feeling resistance towards whatever it is that you're trying to escape through smoking or drinking,
Yeah.
resistance means growth.
Yeah.
When you lift that heavy weight, your arms and your muscles are only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're only going to get stronger.
Yeah.
The same way when you're resisting alcohol temptation, weed temptation, and any other vice, you know, lustful temptations, you're only going to get stronger, and you're only going to realize that with lust, there's going to be that one woman, not these multiple women. With alcohol, there's more time for you to get things done. With weed, why was I so afraid of being uncomfortable?
Yeah. I mean, and it's just kind of like, it just clouds your judgment. I mean, it's kind of like when people drink, like, let's say they had a bad day. Oh, let me go get a drink. But then you wake up, that problem is still going to be there.
Absolutely.
It's still going to be there. So,
absolutely.
You know, and that's one thing that I've learned, you know, like when I would drink a lot, and it's just because, you know, I didn't know how to deal with a lot of things, even like in the beginning of marriage. And I've actually had these conversations with my wife.
Yeah.
You know, and in the beginning, it's like you don't want to hurt each other's feelings in the beginning.
You don't want to say nothing too.
But, and then this is what I was telling you about, and this is what we're talking about mental health and just, you know, being open and honest. And it's like, look, I mean, we're in this for life, you know. I should be able to talk to you about, you know, how I'm feeling. Like, I shouldn't have to go to my homeboy and say, hey, I'm feeling this way, when I got this beautiful woman at home that I can talk to and I can be vulnerable with, you
Absolutely.
know? I mean, because then, I mean, you know, as you get older, the homies are more, you know, they listen to you more because they understand. But in the beginning, you're like, I ain't telling you shit.
Yeah.
I ain't telling you nothing. Like, no, I'm good. And even though you might, you know, be like negative $500 in your bank account, but you're still going to be like, I'm good. But even though you're not going to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's the pride in you. But you go to your woman and be like, hey, I'm $500 in the hole. All right, baby, I got you. Like, I might give you like 300, but you know, she'll give you some. But you can
conversations.
You know, have that conversation where like, hey, babe, I'm struggling to pay this bill this month. Like,
definitely.
You know, I understand like we have our arrangement, but just for this one time, you know, can you help me out with this?
Yeah, you figure it out, but and you can have these conversations more so, and that's kind of actually my next question.
Yeah.
For relationships.
Yeah.
I know you're married.
Yeah. How
has your partner attributed to your performance in your business and productivity?
It's everything, bro. Accountability. You know, she holds me accountable. She's like, hey, you know, you have that meeting. You know, what's going on with this? And like, let's just say I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to do. Hey, you need to turn that in.
Yeah.
So it's just having that woman to just say, hey, look, you need to get this done. I mean, as far as like my workouts and stuff, like I had that pretty much on lock. But you know, you sometimes get off track.
Yeah.
And even something as simple as me like leaving my shoes like in the floor, and my wife just goes,
oh man, I bet.
She goes crazy.
Yeah, I bet. Oh man, I've been
there. She gives me those dirty looks, and she's like, you better go upstairs and put those shoes where they go.
Yeah.
And she has a spot for everything. So even though like you heard the personality types, like the star system.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so like you have like you're structured, you have someone that's theory, someone that's action, and someone that's relational. Mm-hmm. So my wife is like a super S. Like everything has a spot. Like even in the kitchen, if I put the knife in the wrong spot, she goes crazy.
Oh man, that's a good woman to have.
You know, even though like I've been structured, you know, my family, you know, very structured people, I'm just an action type. Like if I see an opportunity, I'll figure it out later. Like, you know, shoot first, ask questions later type.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, and it's crazy because I actually went to an event and realized that opposites attract.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. So you need like, and that's come. I'm excited for my wife to get her license, you know, so she can help me with the business.
That's amazing, man.
So I mean,
that's amazing.
She's gonna really help me with the back office stuff because I mean, and this is what you're saying, learning how to delegate tasks. Like, you know, because before, you know, I got to do everything. I got to follow up with clients and I got to call clients, and then now when she gets licensed,
stronger as a team.
Now she'll be able to help me do all that other stuff and, you know, set up appointments for me for, you know, my current clients.
It's amazing.
So then I can focus on getting new clients and also focus on bringing on new team members.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's what I got to look for in my next partner is someone that's going to attribute, you know, to the little things. Like instead of having my boy over here, Dylan is behind the camera, I probably need to find, you know, that woman that's going to be like, I'll hit the camera for you. I'll do what you need to do. Like, I mean, maybe get me on the show one time. Like, hold on.
I mean, but that'd definitely be powerful, though, man. I mean, and I feel like, and I've seen a lot of couples, they do that. I mean, my mentor, his wife, she does a lot of the back office of the business, you know, making sure that our business is clean and making sure that we write good policies and, you know, we do right by our clients. And You know, and you need that because, I mean, it takes a team to really build a business. Like, in the beginning, it's like you seem like you have to do everything on your own.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel that way. But then it's like if you have that one person that believes in you, and sometimes it just takes that one person that just... Because, I mean, I've had people in the past, and they say, oh, I got you, and then they leave. And, I mean, shout out to my boy Julian. Like, this dude's been patient with me and, like, you know, going to this new approach and just... bringing the right people that see value in what I do and understanding, like, in order to grow, you have to go through these steps. And it's just a work in progress. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, same thing with you doing, you know, door knocking. It's a work in progress, and it's going to become an art to where pretty soon you're going to write a book about it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the one, like, man, I remember Michael Perez, like, when he was talking about door knocking, now this guy's like an expert.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm about to be buying his book, and I'm about to be the one putting it on social media, like, yo, you should buy this book. This
absolutely.
book is amazing.
There's going to be a course, guys. There's going to be a course. I'm going to be
you.
hiring on a team real soon. It's just, I'm giving you guys a proof of concept. But going back into that, there definitely is a very strong necessity for a team, because when you're running an operation of any type, if you're dreaming, if you can achieve your dream on your own, you're just not dreaming big enough.
No, you're not.
That's the thing.
You need a team. I mean, I've never met a millionaire that became a millionaire on his own. I've never met one. Ever.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody.
Man, I'm pulling my hair out, man, when I'm doing these things. I'm pulling my hair out, man. I wouldn't, the beginning of this door knocking thing, I don't know if I would have been able to have the confidence to go out if it wasn't my man back here, Dylan. You know, shout out Dylan. He's behind the camera right now.
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't have had the courage if he wasn't right there. Like, you got this, man.
Yeah.
Go get him. I'm like, all right, like a bat out of hell. You know what I mean? Like, and but no, it's definitely strong to have your team and of course your partnership with your wife or whoever it is. You know, and I really respect that and appreciate that you shared that with us. Because you know, for someone like myself, someone in the steps before me, someone that might just be starting out, they might be looking into meaningless relationships, but not realizing that that one relationship that you'll ultimately find is going to be what's going to hopefully attribute to your dreams as well. You know, be something that's valuable in your endeavors as well.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of it is books that I've read. I mean, I've read a lot of John Maxwell. Yeah. I mean, John Maxwell is one of my favorite authors.
Why does that sound familiar? What books does he write?
So it's Art of Leadership.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he has Leadership 2.0, and that's another book.
Okay.
And Mario Arizon, believe it or not, is part of his leadership council.
Wow. Okay.
So he actually has pictures with him. I mean, this guy pretty much met a whole bunch of celebrities come to the office, but I mean, just more like. It's a dream life. Anything is possible. I mean, even though people are small-minded, like, oh, man, I just want to do this. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. Like, if that's the direction you want to go, like, I can humbly respect that. But this is the direction I'm going to go. Like, I want this for my son. Like, I want my son to be able to, by the time he turns 18, drive a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to have that. Like, even though some parents are like, you shouldn't be able to let him drive that. I'm like, why not? Why can't he have that?
Yeah.
Why can't my dad, someday drive a Rolls Royce?
Yeah,
I want my dad to have that.
Absolutely.
Nah,
man, definitely got to connect. We definitely have to.
Yes.
I definitely want to meet Mario Arizon. Shout out Mario. I've heard a ton about you already, man.
Yes.
Definitely connect a little more with you about that after the show. Cause definitely want to surround myself around this type of team, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I need more of that. I feel like I've rinsed myself of the old me.
Yeah.
This whole time I've been going through this. Through the podcast, you guys can go back to the first episode and see a different me than you're seeing here right now.
Yeah.
I've rinsed myself of almost every bad habit that I have. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have been going crazy on the alcohol. I only say going crazy because I've been drinking more than none. When I said I was not going to drink anymore. Yeah. Well, I didn't say I wasn't going to drink anymore, but I did that whole 45, 50-day challenge of no alcohol. But a lot of this transitioning stuff, I'm having my own coping mechanisms towards it, and I'll admit, it's probably not the best coping mechanism, but I think now that I'm realizing, it's the people around, it's the people that I had around me in my past life, my old self, and now I'm looking for I'm finding and I'm going through this growing pain to my best self, and I've been thinking about going to new networking meetings and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But I do want to thank you so much, man, for coming on the show.
Man,
I want to give you,
having me.
Of course, man, of course. If you guys want to hear more about Mr. Cannon's story, his services. Check him out. I'm gonna leave all his links below. We did talk a little bit about what his services are.